Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashley Dizon, and today I'll be giving you guys a tour on Cairo, Egypt. Just to give you an overlook on what we will be covering, these are the two main topics we will be going over. First will be the geographic location, the second will be the origins of the city, third will be about the culture, and lastly will be a personal analysis on the city. The city, Cairo, is located north of Egypt, where the relative location is northeast of the Giza, southeast of Shabra el-Hama, south of Ben-Ha, and west of the Suez Canal. Egypt has an arid desert climate, and the weather in Cairo is always warm with cool nights. Usually Egypt has two seasons where they have a very hot summer between May and October, then a mild winter from November to April. But each summer the Nile River rises due to rainfall, which floods the river valleys, leaving sediments needed for trees, plants, and crops to grow. Northern Egypt contains many wide valleys near the Nile River. The east and west are predominantly deserts, and the south part of Egypt are made up of low mountains and deserts. From the map provided, we see there is more vegetation near the bodies of water, and along the western desert, there are small areas of oases, while the environment surrounding them are deserts. To the next slide, we will talk about the judiciary of Egypt. Egypt is an independent branch of government which includes both secular and religious courts. The Egyptian judicial system is based on European and primarily French legal concepts and methods. In 1953, the office of President of Egypt was established. The President is the head of state of Egypt and the supreme commander of the Egyptian armed forces. The first president of Egypt was Mohammed Nahib, which is one of the leaders of the Free Officers Movement who led the Egyptian Revolution in 1952. On June 18, 1953, Mohammed took charge in office and made Egypt declared republic. The current president is Abdul Fattah al-Sisi, who is effectively controlling the country since the 2013 coup d'etat, and was officially elected president in 2014. Now we will talk about the origins of the city. Cairo was founded in 2000 BC and was ruled by King Menes, who united Upper and Lower Egypt. In the 1st century, the Romans built a Babylon fortress on the Nile River, which was the oldest structure in the city. Cairo itself was established as a city of Fustat by the Fatimids in the 10th century. On the left, we have a map that provides what the ancient Egyptians traded. They were wonderful traders that sailed ships up and down the Nile River, bringing goods such as gold, papyrus, linen, grains of cedar wood, ebony, copper, iron, ivory, and lapis to various ports. Egypt occupies a strategic location on the African continent that extends from the Mediterranean Sea in the north and the Sudan in the south. Cairo is known as being a very densely populated city, as well as being the center of Egypt's culture and politics. Here we have some major landmarks and historical sites of the city. First, we have the pyramids of Giza that were built during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom of ancient Egypt. The Great Pyramid and the Pyramid of Khafre are the largest pyramids built in ancient Egypt. They have historically been common as emblems of ancient Egypt in the Western imagination. Next is the Khan al-Khalili, which is home of many Egyptian artisans and workshops involved in the production of traditional crafts and souvenirs. It is a famous bazaar, which means an enclosed marketplace or street where goods and services are exchanged or sold. This place is a historical center of Cairo, Egypt that is the main attraction for tourists and Egyptians. The pyramids are home to one of the only 7 wonders of the ancient world that still stands today. Up next, we have the Great Mosque of Muhammad Ali Pasha, or the Alabaster Mosque. This mosque was situated in the citadel of Cairo, Egypt, and was commissioned by Muhammad Ali Pasha between 1830 and 1848. This mosque was built in the memory of Tusan Pasha, Muhammad Ali's oldest son, who died in 1816. This mosque, along with the citadel, is one of the landmarks and tourist attractions of Cairo. This is one of the first features to be seen when approaching the city of any direction. Underneath, we have the Egyptian Museum, or the Museum of Egyptian Antiquities. This museum is home to an extensive collection of ancient Egyptian antiquities. It has 120,000 items with a representative amount on display. This was built in 1901 by the Italian construction company to a design by French architect Marcel Dagnon. This museum is one of the largest museums in the region. Now we will talk about the demographics and culture. About 90% of Egyptians are Muslims, which means they are the followers of the Islamic religion. Only about 10% of Egyptians are Copts, which is one of the oldest branches of the Christian religion. Almost entirely of Egypt's Muslims are Sunnis with a small minority of Shia and Ahmadi Muslims. Egyptians that live in Egypt constitutes the primary group at 97 to 98% of the total population. Egyptian citizens constitute the primary group to 97 to 98% of the total population, which is about 76.4 million people that live in Egypt. As of this year, in 2020, Egypt's population is estimated at 102 million people at mid-year according to the UN data. Egyptian population is growing rapidly. This puts strains on Egypt's resources since most people live in a narrow strip of land near the Nile River. Having so many people in such small areas can cause overcrowding, from schools to apartments, buildings, then hospitals. Buildings and history play a crucial part in the culture of Cairo, and the city is famed for its abundance of the Islamic architecture. The official language of Egypt is Arabic. The dialect that is spoken is Masri, which is one of the most widely spoken Arabic dialects. Masri is spoken mainly by the inhabitants of Egypt's capital city Cairo and the surrounding cities. This dialect was derived from the spoken Arabic form that came to Egypt with Islam and was later influenced by the local Coptic language. Also, other foreign languages such as Italian, Turkish, English, and French. The next dialect is Saidi, which is spoken by Saidi people who live in southern Egypt near the Sudan border. It differs slightly in the city along the Nile and gets more complicated further south. The last dialect is Badawi, that is spoken by the Bedouin in the Sinai Peninsula and the eastern parts of Egypt. It is also spoken in neighboring countries like Syria, Jordan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia. Here are some extra images of the people in Cairo. Egypt has a rich history and culture dating back to thousands of years, starting with the Pharaohic culture, then Christianity and Islam. Egypt is among the earliest civilizations where culture has been affected by many other cultures and ethnic groups who are either lived in or invaded the country, creating a melting pot. Egypt is the most progressive country in the Middle East in the field of media, journalism, film, and television, also in music and arts, which is a supreme importance in Egyptian culture. Cairo is fairly conservative, where ladies must wear a headscarf or a hijab that includes long pants or skirts below the knee-length with a t-shirt top and cap sleeves. In modern-day Egypt is more commonly determined by the degree to which people exhibit and respect common cultural values of modesty, loyalty, honesty, and hospitality. Now we have some cool facts time. Did you know that Cairo is the only city that still has one of the remaining 7 wonders of the ancient world? Also, the city named Cairo can be translated as the one who won. Last cool fact is that the locals like to call Cairo Mother of the World. This is because the city is a whirlpool of life and culture on the edge of many worlds. To continue on here, we have some celebrations and festivals that are celebrated in Egypt. Egypt uses the Islamic calendar that is based on the Lunar New Year, which is approximately 11 days shorter than the Gregorian calendar. So usually around the holidays, it would shift throughout the seasons. I will be giving you guys dates of the next year in 2021. First, we have the Coptic Christmas that is on January 7th, which is a secular holiday that celebrates the Christian holidays of Easter and Christmas, which are both national holidays in Egypt. These are celebrated just like any other Islamic holidays. This holiday is followed by evening masses and prayers where people gather to celebrate with traditional dishes of rice, garlic, and meat soup. Next is the Sun Festival. This is on February 22nd, where the sun god was the most important deity of the ancient Egyptians. This is celebrated at the biggest temple of the ancient world in Abu Simbel. What happens at the temple is that the sun rays reach the innermost sanctums of the temple, and only the statue dedicated to Ptah, the goddess of darkness, remains in the dark. Egyptians also celebrate Ramadan, which is going to be on April 12th to May 11th. During this month, most Muslims avoid food, drinks, and cigarettes from sunrise to sunset. Bazaars and markets come alive with fairy lighting and loads of people breaking their fasts and celebrating their culture with their family and friends. Last is Sham al-Nessim, or Sniffing the Breeze Festival. This is on May 3rd that celebrates the arrival of spring. This ancient festival, which welcomes spring, is celebrated by all people regardless of faith. Families gather together and go to picnics to the park, beaches, and historical sites with baskets filled with traditional food items. Finally, this is my take on why Cairo is unique. Cairo is unique because it is one of the largest cities in the world and is largest in Africa. The city is unique by being home to one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that still stands today. Cairo is known for being a very densely populated city as well as being the center of Egypt's culture, education, and politics. The city Cairo has such life and history behind the name. It still continues on making a name for itself. Thank you guys for listening on my presentation on Cairo, Egypt.